When Marvel took the gamble on creating a cinematic universe back in 2008, they were not expecting to get nearly as far as they did. The mere idea of a cinematic universe of films was pretty outlandish. It couldn't possibly work, but the first phase of the MCU, it blew us away. It established Marvel as a blockbuster powerhouse. Phases 2 and 3 built upon that story and culminated in 2018 and 19 with Infinity War and Endgame respectively. So following the conclusion of a decade of storytelling, Marvel Studios knew they were going to have to be fighting an uphill battle with whatever came next. Not only were you going to have to come up with something to follow the Infinity Saga, but you were also now going to have to deal with a global pandemic and the rise of streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, all that. At first, the plan to start using Disney Plus as a primary storytelling source for Phase 4, it seemed like a good idea. We were all excited at the prospect of all the different shows and the countless characters that were introduced along the way, but with hardly any of the MCU's Phase 4 output being on the same level as the Infinity Saga, franchise fatigue, it kind of hit like a truck. In the most recent MCU projects, they've been struggling to hit financial goals. Now, Marvel is still dominating the box office. Their numbers are nowhere near the golden age, and when you add the rising budgets, that financial report looks a little more thin. Disney Plus has also been struggling to hold the attention of paying customers as the original shows have not been massive draws, resulting in Disney losing some money with the streaming investment, it looks like. It doesn't matter if you love Phase 4 or hated it. Something has to change, and it looks like something is about to drastically change. Welcome to the Chaos Multiverse, everybody. Chaos here. Today we're going to talk about huge changes coming to not only the Phase 4 timeline, I know it's over, but Phase 5 and 6. We may be seeing a quality over quantity shift happening, which means some of the stuff we thought was coming may not be at all. Drop a like, make sure you guys are subscribed, stick around for all the details. And the MCU side of Disney, it wasn't the only thing that led to the first Bob's firing. It didn't help. Now, the brand is very popular and very profitable, but it's losing the public's interest due to the constant release of average content that doesn't seem to have any singular, interesting, overarching narrative. This is where Bob Iger is likely going to step in. Bob Iger was the CEO of Disney before handing the reins over to the other Bob in 2020. However, the first couple years, disappointing. The Disney board gave him the boot and brought Bob number 1 back. Set things back on course while they look for a long-term replacement. So according to the Cosmic Circus, this shakeup at the top of Disney's food chain is having a ton of trickle-down effects very rapidly. It seems with Phase 4 coming to a disappointing close, Marvel may be completely reevaluating their strategy for 5 and 6. According to the report, Marvel is likely going to transition to a quality over quantity approach effective immediately in order to combat declining ticket sales and mediocre critical reception. The world is obviously willing to embrace a ton of different Marvel projects, just like they did back during the Infinity Saga. But the storytelling back then, it was tighter. You really felt the urge to keep up with everybody's stories, even if they weren't your favorite character. There was a genuine interest in the universe as a whole, not just the individual stories. That's what made it special. Phase 4 didn't have that cohesion. And that's likely because Marvel Studios infamously started spamming stuff out before they had a long-term plan for 4, 5, and 6. After the Star Wars sequel trilogy did that, we all thought Disney would have made sure none of their studios follow suit, but they did. Now the report goes on to claim that Marvel is now reevaluating the future releases of everything that isn't currently in production for the MCU, with rumors claiming a bunch of them are either going to get delayed or get the axe. Cosmic Circus did mention that the MCU special presentations are doing rather well and will likely get more funding and priority in the future, which I like. I'd much rather have a whole bunch of really solid special presentations than a bunch of overlong shows that could have been cut down to a movie. Now, insider sources currently believe nothing in Phase 5 is going to be canceled. It's likely certain things will be pushed back, given more time for polish. Phase 6 is likely going to experience the most change since none of its projects are in actual production, so it's the easiest to alter them. It's believed that the Nova show may actually be cut down to a special presentation, and Armor Wars may be sliced down from a show to a movie. Actually, Armor Wars is going to be a movie. We already know that. Other projects that haven't centered production yet, like Daredevil, Born Again, and Agatha, Coven of Chaos, may get changes, perhaps delays. Heck, they could get the axe. And then the other rumored projects like Vision Quest and Wonder Man, we don't know. It may not even happen. Who knows? Now, given how huge Secret Wars is supposed to be, this doesn't shock me, and honestly, I think it's the right move. Secret Wars is going to be a massive project, and with how uneventful Phase 4 was, I think Marvel would really benefit from some extra time in order to really get us to care about the characters and the story before Avengers 5 and 6 roll. Now, after all, if they rush out the Avengers movies, they're going to find themselves in the same place Warner Brothers had with Justice League. Marvel is still the top dog when it comes to comic book movies, but this is the first time in a long time they're a little vulnerable. Taking a step back to ensure your output is as good as it can be, I think it's great. The Phase 4 strategy simply wasn't working, and it wasn't keeping things... it just wasn't keeping people's attention. So I'm holding out hope that cooler heads prevail here, and Marvel doesn't just keep pumping out content to get to Avengers as fast as they can. A lot of really important plot points have been underdeveloped, and we now have a pretty uninteresting lineup of main characters and villains. Kang is awesome. There's some really cool sounding projects coming up for Phase 5 and 6, but if they're not actually worth watching, what's the point? Something has to give, and if slowing down, pumping the brakes, or condensing the release schedule gets them back on track, I'm here. That's one step closer to getting something as good as Infinity Saga, if not better. Phase 4 was rough for the current storyline, but if Marvel uses this as an opportunity to refine things from the coming years, it could be good. I think the fan base is willing to forgive, and mistakes happen. You just have to alter. With the announcement of Spider-Man 4 in production, spacing out Phase 5, a little more could actually be put in there and for everyone involved. I want the MCU to be as good as it can. And right now, I think the number one thing for most of us is let it breathe. Let the writers figure out how to tell the best story possible with all the pieces currently on the chessboard and in their budget. You don't have to rush it. I mean, hopefully Marvel comes to this realization soon, and hopefully Disney is willing to take a more hands-off approach when it comes to it. I know, though, they need content. It's a beast. It's a machine. It's the same as TikTok and the same as YouTube and the same as Instagram and Twitter. You have to keep feeding the beast. In a day and age where people consume so much content, it's hard. So don't expect many new MCU announcements in the next year or so. Don't be shocked when a slate of projects either gets pushed back or gets canceled altogether. I mean, if that is what happens, it should be for the better. It should be for the bigger picture. So let me know what you guys think. Where do you rate Phase 4? Be honest. Scale of 1 to 10 and tell me why you put it where you did. There was some good stuff in it. There was. I mean, like, I thoroughly enjoyed Loki. I think Shang-Chi was part of Phase 4, right? I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. I thought we were kind of still connecting with what was going on. And then we kind of went down the rabbit hole. She-Hulk, let's be real. What was the point of the show? There really wasn't a point. I mean, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it was cool. I mean, I guess it did serve a purpose. It set up Sam as Captain America. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm really on the fence. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll keep you posted.